our tarot card for Cancers.
Card. Why don't you do the honors and pull for us?
Oh my god, I love this. I'm truly honored to pull.
I'm just loving that feeling. And my students know, like, the 8th house is yin energy, so I'm like down and in. But then I always go up and out. That's the 9th house. So right now I'm just so I'm like, feel like, okay, we're still here, but it's so close. You know what I mean? So close to the.
Oh god, I can't wait to come up for air. Trust me, this has been like a year.
So it's almost like you are rising as well. You know, if you can imagine that sort of too.
Yeah. Now we're like we're top of the heavens here. So here's our tarot card for Cancer for February.
Ooh, 3 of Wands.
3 of Wands reversed.
Well, astrologically, this is Sun in Aries, which is interesting. This has a lot to do with integrity, right? And so I'm gonna be quiet and let you go first.
Okay, so 3 of Wands. Like 3 of Wands is really kind of lay of the land, and being in a point where you are able to choose your trajectory and the path that you're continuing to take on your journey. It is also Sun in Aries, as Tara mentioned, which it comes in March. So it's only a month away, you know, for us to actually do the lay of the land. Another thing that keeps coming up too, and this goes with the 9th house thing. It's very pronounced, the 9th house in February for Cancer, but it's about a 1.5-year theme because we have the lunar nodes on the Pisces Virgo axis, and so this is so certainly journeying, traveling, again, like the whole getting out there thing. What do you think?
Well, and it's a 3, right? 3s are always about 2 things coming together to make a third. So there's creative, fiery energy in here. There's a synergy. There's letting things grow. You can see, you know, it's upside down here, reverse, which for me, like Clarissa, you use reverse a lot. I tend to kind of lean into both sides when I interpret, and there's not a right wrong. It's just kind of how we do it. But that shows sometimes this card's about a new enterprise. Sometimes it's about something finally coming together. But the key to me when we say integrity, I don't mean this sort of like a statement of right, wrong, integrity. I mean, is your heart and your mind and your actions in alignment, right? And that, I think, has a lot to do with this energy. So there's something about creativity. But I'm wondering with the reverse, I'm curious, what do you think? Because do you think there's a little pause in here? Like, is there, just going to say.
Well, I think it's a foreshadowing and a forewarning very directly. Yeah. Like, it directly corresponds with the Sun in Aries. And so Sun in Aries is the 20th of March. So when we have reversed cards in tarot, so it's, to me, sometimes it's foreshadowing timelines, right? Like, it hasn't happened yet, but it's on the horizon. Yeah. And so, you know, we've been talking about Cancers, and particularly towards the end of the month, like, now we're out, like we're above, we're out of the cave, you know, we're out of the muck and whatever. Now and everybody sees us and things like that. Well, this is preparing for us to go to a whole nother level when we get to Sun in Aries in March. And so it's like, there's something to me with this tarot card about biding your time, because reversals also point to the previous card. Previous card is 2 of wands.
But that's choosing what you really want. That's a creative doorway that you choose to go through.
Wow.
But what if you went through too fast and it wasn't the one you actually wanted? Then the baby's already there. You know what I mean? So it's like, you might want to think about the thing you really want to create, spend a little bit of time. Because once we hit here, it's like, it's out. Yeah. And
it's already out. It's such a trip, too. Because, like, we're already, like, coming. The February is just, like, this reemergence, you know, coming closer and closer to the surface until we get up there and everybody sees us at the surface type of thing. But then, basically, I feel like the tarot's saying, hey, there's even more. Yep. There's, like, even more. So, you know, like, really assess all of your options and really, really get clear on your path. And I think this aligns a lot with, you know, some of the astrology that came up for Cancers in February, which is like, it's like spiritual ideals. It's what your soul wants. And yes, it's broadcasting and things like that. And it actually legitimately is marketing. That is what the 9th house also does. It's like that sharing communication and things like that. But it's like, it is that authentic soul that you were talking about, and truth.
And is it your truth? Is what you're doing, do you really believe in it? Does it align at a deeper level with who you are? Is your path, and again, whenever I say path, I don't mean getting somewhere, the way you're moving through life, is that in alignment? And I think this is just a little caution. Check it. Because when your broadcast is live, it's
really live.
And then things can really like start to get moving. And if it's not in alignment, it's much harder later to try to pull it back than to take a second and make sure that it's in alignment. So that integrity, I think, is coming through in beautiful alignment with the 9th house, which is that natural, personal truth in alignment with, a greater sort of umbrella or concept. But there is something about making sure, it's like almost your own inner justice. Right?
Yes.
And if you don't feel like you're sitting in a place where you feel like that's in alignment, this would speak to probably a little bit of the, I'm going to say, a bumpiness that might come if you don't.
A bumpiness. And then also the we can be choosy. So I think that's another thing. Like, we can be choosy when we're presented with this card, because 3 of Wands has a lot of options. In fact, 2 of Wands, the preceding card also has a lot of options. So we have a lot of options, actually. So really consider them, because I feel like once we move forward with the options, once we get to Sun in Aries, then we're locked in, and not in a way that I think is oppressive, but let's just imagine 3 of Wands, like, being the actual character in the 3 of Wands, like, the 3 of Wands is actually actively walking and or traveling the path that they chose to take. So if they do want to go back 50 miles, they have to go back 50 miles. They're already deep in what they're doing.
You already took a plane to China, right? You know what I mean? Like, you are already in China. That's the example of that card. So, so just imagine if you don't want to be in China, and just picking that place randomly, you're going to have to make a lot of effort and probably spend a lot of money to get yourself out of there right away. So that's, I think, like, just a forethought to be, and it's great to kind of use a country, because different countries have different cultures and different beliefs and different truths. So even thinking about what is metaphorically, what is the country you want to be traveling? So I love that example because that, and then what is it going to take to get on that path?
Wow.
Yeah.
That is such a trip, too, because countries or workplaces or cafes or parks or wherever you find yourself, whatever space you find yourself occupying does have distinct cultural traits to it. So you don't want to be too far along the path where it's like, actually, I'm not sure this matches my ideals. In terms of, the cultural vibe, the cultural energy,
the values, all of that.
Right. So just like, don't get to consider your options, assess, and then, because when we get to Aries season, we're likely to be deep in what we are assessing in February right now.
Awesome. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much.
Hope you have a wonderful February.
Yes. Enjoy crab. Gente. Adios.
Bye.